somebody had just thought of you a little bit, if somebody had even gave an ounce of a damn about you, you would have enough money where you wouldn't work for anybody else for the rest of your life. See, the one thing that there's a lady named Sheila who might be in this room right now, and I love Sheila. She's one of our mastermind students, and she told me stories about her daddy. Her daddy died about, I think, 25 years ago. But Sheila lives good based on what her daddy did, because her daddy was a hardworking black man. He didn't have any special anything. He was just a hardworking guy. I don't know what his education level was, but he bought some property and bought some land. And he used to just tell her, he said, one generation should invest so that the future generations can be comfortable. And she says, so my father literally takes care of us from the grave. So when I met with Sheila and we talk about wealth decisions and strategies, we're not speaking from a position of strugglenomics. Why would we do that? Her father worked his entire life so she could have those conversations from a position of powernomics. So really, if you really want to think about the whole scenario in terms of what the black athlete represents for the black community as this multi-trillion-dollar asset, you have to understand that assets pretty much only have value if they're properly managed. An asset like a young athlete or a great singer or whatever, that's like a car. An asset or like a factory in a way. If I give you, I could give you $1 billion factory, and if you don't know anything about how to run that damn thing, that asset means nothing. The value of the asset will be wasted. So what do we have to do? Well, we get the training. The rest of us who aren't going to be the next Muhammad Ali or the next Terrence Crawford, we get the skill set to know how to manage the athlete, because here's the thing, while only black men can turn into the next Terrence Crawford, it's only black women that can give birth to the next Terrence Crawford. Do you understand? But Muhammad Ali wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a black woman that gave birth to him, right? Black women are the only ones that can give birth to these black babies that are doing these amazing things. So, in my view, when you're giving birth to these beautiful little assets called children, the desire and the ability to manage that asset properly, to give them the discipline, give them the focus, give them the education, make sure you have the education, the focus, and the discipline. That's how the family works together to build something that cannot be torn down. Shaquille O'Neal is he's 7'1". He was 250 pounds, and he was the most ferocious player in the entire NBA. He was the only person I've ever seen, including Michael Jordan, who could not be stopped by anyone. The only person that could stop Shaquille O'Neal was himself. If he had Michael Jordan's work ethic, he would have won a championship every year. He just didn't have the mindset of a Michael Jordan, but he still won some championships. He was that freaking dominant. There has never in the history of the NBA ever been a white version of a Shaquille O'Neal. There's never been a white version of a Michael Jordan. There's never been a white Muhammad Ali. And I'm not saying white people, this is not anti-white. This is just truth. So the black women that gave birth to these men were equally responsible for the success of these men, and their fathers as well, right? So with Shaquille O'Neal, let me tell you about Shaquille O'Neal, why Shaquille O'Neal is going to be a billionaire before he dies. Shaquille O'Neal, when he went to the NBA and his mother saw that he was this $1 billion asset of an athlete, she managed that. She managed his money, made sure that he didn't blow it all. They managed legacy. They made sure that everything was protected. His father was a military guy. Shout out to all the veterans in the room. You have tremendous value, right? His father was a military guy who made sure his son was disciplined and fearless and able to get the most out of his talent. So working together, they turned this guy into a kid who went off and made over $100 million in the NBA. And all the while, the family was right there in the background managing this $1 billion opportunity. They weren't going to let this opportunity get thrown out the window. So when you see drugs infiltrate the family, that's going to be a wasted opportunity.